President Donald Trump announced that he was going to work with Congress to codify in law banning corporations from owning single-family homes. That is a good thing. That is something, quite honestly, that should have been done a long time ago. The reason why I'm frustrated and baffled is because it's a lack of leadership, yet again, from the Democrats to not have led on this issue. We talk all the time as a Democratic Party about how we support the little guy. Yet here is a great example that isn't new, that isn't novel, that you could have done to advantage the little guy, advantage families, advantage individuals from being able to be homeowners in this state. But we didn't do it. And it's not novel and new because I've been talking about this for over 10 years. 10 years ago, when I was the first millennial ever elected to the state legislature, I tried to introduce legislation that said no corporation should be able to compete against a first-time home buyer in California. And no first-time home buyer should have to have that burden of needing to compete against an all-cash offer from a corporate investor. I couldn't even have that conversation with my Democratic colleagues at that time.
Look, what's a target of the administration is getting the American dream back on track after 4 years of Joe Biden destroying the housing market. The good news is we have a builder-in-chief, not just a commander-in-chief. He understands the real estate market. He understands the importance of keeping home prices high, but at the same time making it so that way people can finally afford a home again. You know, during Biden's term of 4 years, you had massive inflation. Mortgage rates went through the roof. Nobody could afford a home, and the only people who could afford a home were these big corporations with balance sheets. So it's time that corporations stop owning these homes and people start owning and living in these homes as nature intended.
You know, it always impresses me how few people, one, know that this is happening, and two, don't understand the implications of anyone just buying up a large amount of land and a large amount of homes. I wish Trump would have said corporations in foreign countries, because we have a lot of foreign countries that own a significant amount of land in the United States, and that one's never been able to be explained to me in a way that makes any kind of patriotic sense. But let's talk about it, okay? Well, one, this is obviously happening. That's real. I worked at BlackRock for quite a few years. This is something that they very proudly do. But the issue is when you go out as a corporation and you buy up a large sleuth of homes, one, you reduce that supply. That's a pretty common sense one. Less homes out there because you bought a whole bunch of them. But when you reduce that supply, it drives up home prices. I know you might say, well, they're going to do something great with them. Okay, congratulations. I have some cartoons for you to watch because apparently that's where you get your research from. It's going to raise your rent. It's going to shift the wealth upward, which is one of the reasons why the fourth branch of the government known as BlackRock continues to do it. It's going to weaken your stability in the community that you have. It's going to increase eviction risk because local landlords suddenly don't have this impact. Now you have an organization, doesn't know you, doesn't care about you. You're just a line item on a sheet of paper for them. And this is objectively something that harms, especially first-time home buyers. Your veterans, your single-family income, or single-parent incomes. They can't go out now and get houses because they don't exist anymore. Corporations are taking them, utilizing a lot of the tax benefits that come whenever you look at property as an asset class. I'm happy that this is happening. I am certain that somehow people on the left are going to say, well, this is awful. They should be able to do whatever they want to do. Y'all, corporations are not your friend. I'm going to tell you the truth. They are not your friend. They do not care about you. They care about, at the end of the day, how much money they have to show their shareholders so their price can continue to go up and they can continue to operate. BlackRock's the number one example of that. Hopefully this goes through. Hopefully we can start getting some power back to the people, which includes your ability to have land one day and not have to live paying rent for the rest of your life.
These are the people that claim that they have an affordability crisis. And somehow what they have said in their affordability crisis is the only way to solve it is to transfer the wealth of working and middle-class people through taxation from them to the government so that they can build socially engineered small housing. So if you go and look in socialist and communist countries, how people live in one-bedroom studios and dormitory style housing. The housing is very small, and it's very difficult to have a family thrive in those types of physical conditions. When they say you're going to own nothing and love it,
be happy. Yeah.
This is exactly what they mean. Go look at the plan for these 15-minute cities. What they intend for you is to have these crackerjack style, box style housing, all in one place where all of your needs, which will be your basic needs, not your wants, your basic needs will be satisfied within 15 minutes of walking distance, because you can believe you won't have a car, because they're not going to allow you to burn all that fossil fuel to drive anywhere and get out of there. And you can be managed and contained within a radius that they control. This is the vision. And how they have done this is they have convinced people that there's an affordability crisis when there is not. What there is a monopoly of places like BlackRock, Amazon, Bill Gates buying up all the farmland, Amazon buying up all the single family homes. And because those people are their largest donors, they get to go unscathed. And their answer to affordability is to tax you and take your money to build these crackerjack houses, which once they get rid of the jobs and implement a lot of technology that's going to remove you from your jobs and you lose the homes you're living in, then you'll be on the state and you'll have what they call social housing, and you will have a crackerjack box of your own.
No, I agree. As having children who are one day, I'm hoping that they'll move on and do things like that, great things with their lives. I want them to be able to have a home that's affordable and be able to pick up to be able to be in your 20s and actually buy a house or something of that nature, at least get started on a home. And at the current moment, that's not going to happen. So I am 100% in support of this idea of no corporations and no countries, foreign countries, in our housing market. I appreciate it, though.
Not just housing, though, Jay Witt.
Yeah.
Land as well, because we have found out that, the Chinese, they bought up, hundreds and thousands of acres around military bases. Yep. Corporations buying up housing. I know the brother LS mentioned that just in Atlanta alone, 3 companies purchased 19,000 homes. It's crazy. It's crazy what's going on. And I want to share this. This came from the president. The president said for a very long time, buying and owning a home was considered the pinnacle of the American dream. It was the reward for working hard and doing the right thing. But now, because of the record high inflation caused by Joe Biden and the Democrats in Congress, that American dream is increasingly out of reach for far too many people, especially younger Americans. It is for that reason and much more that I am immediately taking steps to ban large institutional investors from buying more single family homes, and will be calling on Congress to codify it. Will this get codified into law? Will this pass in the House? Will this pass in the Senate? That's my question to you all.
Completely depends on the
I hope it does, but these people are crazy. When I look at all of this and just listening to that gentleman that said that he's part of the Democratic Party and he's been saying this for years, and they didn't even want to have this conversation. I look at them trying to put a wrench in this in Senate and Congress, and then blame Trump for it for some weird reason or the other. Like they'll find a way to say this is Trump's fault somehow or the other to try and make Trump look bad. And the thing is, I would think by now, and this is how I keep saying the people on the left, they are possessed by something dark and ugly. Because let's be real.
Call money.
Yes, because let's be real. Trump could find the cure for cancer, and they will still find the problem. They are fighting. They want to tear him down. They want to throw this administration away, and they keep doing things to help the American people. And everything, when you combine with what you just shared about Minnesota, you're looking at the left continually trying to tear America down. As Celeste she just said that because I was thinking this myself. They want us to own nothing and be happy. They have their pack. What is it? The plan for 2030. What was it called? Agenda 2030. They have Agenda 2030. They have Agenda 2050. They have the Pact for the Future. They have all of these things set in place to destroy America. And I feel like they will find a way not to push this through because we have rhinos in Congress. That's the problem. We have rhinos in Congress. If we didn't have rhinos in Congress and we have people who stood with what Trump was doing to help save America, I think I would sit here and say boldly and proudly, it's going to get through Congress and they're going to push it through the Senate and everything will be good. And that's why I tell people all the time. People are like, oh, Krista, you think everybody on the right is good. No, I don't. I know that there are bad people on both sides. I know that there are people that are stuffing their pockets on both sides. So when they should be doing the good things, they're not. They're doing anything to kind of sabotage this administration and destroy America. Let's just be real. So at this point, I pray that this goes through, because this will be a blessing for so many. Because as you just said, Ella said it, Jay Witt knows it. We know down here in Atlanta, they buying up houses like ain't nobody's business. I remember when houses in Atlanta was a few $100,000, and now it's up there. And every time I look, oh, this house is like 2.5 million, and this house, and I'm just like, for what? But that's because these people's hands, and that's probably why the rent in Atlanta, apartment around here for a 3-bedroom is about what, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 a month. I'm just saying, this is because they do things like this, and people don't realize that. And when y'all think the Democratic Party got your back, this is what it looks like when they don't, because they don't care if you can't afford anything.
This is again another moment or another issue where we have to challenge the people of the United States of America, the citizens. If this doesn't pass, are you willing to blow up the phone of your representative? Let me go back to AT. First, go find out who your representative is. First, go do that. Go find, because I would almost assume most folks don't know who their representative is. No. So go find who that person is, get their contact information, their phone number, their email address. It's all public information. You can find it, and you need to be blowing them up. You need to
let me stop for a second.
Go for it, Jay.
Interrupt. Do it now.
Yeah.
Don't even wait for it not to pass. Do it now on the assumption that you need to remind your representative, remind your representative that you are here. Like, hey, remember me. Before you go vote, I just want you to know, remember us. We're here. We want this to go through. So we won't be surprised.
I don't have any confidence it's going to happen. I think it's because there's too much money being made by politicians to keep this thing going. I think that if Trump could find a way to form it in the form, shape his arguments in the form of a national necessity, and he can do an executive order or something like that, that might be the better way to go, to get past all of these rhinos and people who don't really care about American citizens. But I think that this is another point that you brought up, Wise. I think that this is the tip of the iceberg. This is one of many reasons why they didn't want Trump to get in office, because there was so much of this kind of corruption going on that they had to demonize him and put him in jail or kill him, whatever the case might be, to keep him from getting in a position where he can start unfolding and uncovering and encountering all of this kind of corruption. You think about the people that these billionaires that are buying up farms. This is not an accident. They're trying to control the food, because they control the food, you control the people. They don't not only are they buying up the farms, but they're actually cultivating all of the natural real seeds from the real fruit and vegetables, and then they're genetically modifying so they can control the genetic modification, and they can control how much food is produced. You see, this is criminal. This is not something this should be seen as a criminal act, but there's not being done because too many people with money and power are in control of this kind of thing. So my question, I mean, have you tasted your vegetables lately? Have you tasted your fruit lately? The fruit has no taste, the vegetables, because they're creating it in a way that it makes money for them. They don't care about the nutrition, and you wonder why people are getting sick. So there's a whole lot. The rabbit hole is so deep that we need somebody like Trump to do what he's doing, but we need to get behind him, and we need to be publicizing all of these different criminal things that are happening so that the people understand why we're making this kind of fuss.
Yeah, and Jay, just to piggyback on Jay Witt, you're absolutely right. I actually think most of these politicians are very weak, and they appear strong because they never have any pressure. You find out what happens. It just the citizen recalling, blow up those phone lines, break the internet that goes to the Congress and sending emails, and which are all public. The phone numbers are all public except Tim Walz's goes to the Somali fraudsters, but everybody else is all public. And I think we wouldn't have a problem passing this, because I actually think that they're weak. They will go in any direction. They don't get direction from us, so they're allowed to do what their donors ask them to do. They're never in any conflict because we don't apply any pressure.
Wise, to answer your question, I don't think that it's going to pass. I agree with Minister Danzel because money is so extremely powerful to a lot of these individuals. And as soon as they realize, well, I can do the right thing, I think it's really easy to say this is the right thing to do, to pass something that says that only an individual can own a home. But if they have to lose a digit at the end of their paycheck, if they have to tank their investments, if they have to potentially not be in office the next term, power and money, they're not going to give that up. We know that Trump can't do it in executive order because federal judges absolutely break an arm, patting themselves on the back, trying to stop everything that he does. So it would have to go through Congress. They'll probably stall until the midterms. Unfortunately, if you were to ask me, I think the midterms are going to be a lot closer than people think they will because people don't really care as much as they want to. At the end of the day, most people don't even vote regardless for the president, let alone for the local area. You can try and call your representative, your senator, whoever it may be. I know a young lady who lives in Arizona who tried calling, went straight to voicemail, never heard from them again. And she will probably not vote for that individual, but most people don't care at that level. What it's going to take, unfortunately, is for it to get so bad for these individuals that live in the cities that they can't complain and blame it on Republicans anymore. They'll have to sit down and look and realize, wow, we kind of sort of, to Celeste's point, did this to ourselves by our inaction. I can either bend over, here it comes again, or I could do my research and try to actually push up from this. But I don't think it's going to go through. I really don't think it's going to go through. I think that, to Crystal's point, there's a lot of Republicans who are only doing what keeps them in office. But the second you take away that money, no, they're going to fall right back in line with the system and do everything that they can to keep their power, even if it means harming their own constituents.
I understand what you all are saying, so I don't disagree with the notion that this could go either way and it's probably going to go in the negative direction. I don't think people are ever going to wake up and say, this is our fault. This is what we've done. Did y'all not see those black, quote unquote, faith leaders, pastors in New York complaining to Trump about property taxes? Yes. And I mean, they're blaming it on Trump living in a Democratic city. I mean, if that's not, you know, hey, if I'm gonna join Denzel and AT in negative land, I'm riding that car. That's the car I'm taking to get to negative land. I'm like, these people literally live in a Democrat-run city, and they're blaming the president for something that their Democrat elected officials did. That right there will cause me to not be optimistic, to be extremely negative about this and pessimistic about this, because I don't think they'll ever learn. I don't think they'll ever learn. And I hate to say it, 20 years from now, there'll be ads on television. Is your life worse because of President Trump? Well, there's going to be some kind of medicine. They're going to come up with some kind of medicine because of it.
Oh, no.
You know, is your left toenail infected? You might have Trumpitis. And then they're going to come up with some ad. There'll be an ad for it, man.
You mentioned these black pastors up there, and I'm
don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Hey, I'll get you started. I absolutely will, because this is something that always gets me fired up. I just y'all know I switched over from TikTok to YouTube, and I looked into the CNN article. It was about 2 years ago, right before the election. There was these two black pastors and one white pastor, or reverend, excuse me. They love their titles. And they were absolutely co-signing on to every ridiculous thing that CNN was talking about when it comes to Trump, his election coming up, and what he plans on doing. And it's almost as if it's a tagline that they all mail to themselves in these Democratic cities at these quote unquote churches. They all say the exact same thing. Well, we're not a Christian country. Wrong, by the way. It's actually really easy to prove that. They don't even mention Jesus in the Constitution. Who do you think here of the Lord was talking about? Exclusively and historically, it has 100% always been used to talk about Jesus. And we'll ignore the Declaration of the Independence. We'll ignore the Northwest Ordinance and everything else in the state constitutions. We will say whatever is necessary so my congregation gets full, so that I have people standing up and cheering for me. We're not going to talk about sin. We're not going to talk about truth. We're not going to talk about the hard right. I'm going to keep giving you the easy wrong, and I'm going to make you feel good while you hear it. You're empowered. You're saved. You're wonderful. Trump is really bad, and let's all band together because our skin color means more than our actual salvation, because our entitlement means more than actually being accurate. And as the world continues to burn around us, as long as we feel good from the flames, that's all that really matters.
Can I just clarify real quick? It was in New York, it's Chicago.
Yeah.
And
Chicago.
that's why I'm so thankful. No, yeah, it's Chicago. Yeah, you said New York, but it's Chicago. And that's why I love Danielle and the red flip Chicago Red group, because they're going to make sure everybody in Chicago know it's them Democrats. Y'all can go in front of Trump Tower, but we not stupid. We know who did it.
I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. And as always, keep God first, stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time, man. Peace.
Vibe so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp.